Hello, my name's Isabel and I'm your Academic Liaison Librarian for Marketing and Events. So today I'm going to be talking about how to find information for your international marketing assignment. This basically has three parts. So firstly, we'll look for some information on your product and brand in the UK. So we'll be looking to find out a bit more about its market position and the marketing strategy currently used by that company in the UK context. So that will help you later when you're trying to justify the marketing mix that you'll use when you're expanding the brand to a new country. Secondly, we'll look for information on the relevant market sector in the two countries that you're investigating. So there we're going to be trying to find out about market trends, the competitor landscape, and some of those steeple factors that you'll need in your assignment. Finally, we'll look at the consumers in those countries. So there we're trying to find out about consumer preferences, disposable income, basically making sure that your proposal is viable. So all of the information that I'll talk about today can be found through our market research databases on your course resource help page. So you can follow the link here in the slides, or if you go to the library homepage, you'll find it just to the right of the library search box. So firstly, we'll focus on UK products and brands. Mintel is a really good source of information about the market in the UK. It's based on survey data from UK consumers, and it will tell you a lot about market trends. It's also got a lot of really useful information about the impact of COVID-19 at the moment. I'm not going to demo Mintel. I'm assuming most of you will have used this by now, and it's very easy to search. So you would just open it up, you would search for a specific industry or sector, and browse the reports that are available there. So you can find out about lots of different aspects of that market, and there's also mentions of some of the key companies that are involved in that sector. Some larger companies will have a profile on MarketLine. So these are really useful, particularly for the SWOT analysis that's available there. So we'll take a look at MarketLine. Also Fame, which is a financial database. It will provide you with information on company accounts, ownership, etc. To look on there, it just gives you a sense of how well the company is performing in its current market, whether it's making a profit. Finally, Factiva is a huge news database that can help you to get more of a flavour of what is happening in a particular market and news about a particular company. Which again, a lot of the time now will be how that company is responding and adapting to COVID-19. Let's start by looking at MarketLine. So you can find this under Quick Access on your course resource help page. It'll take you through the Brooks login if you're not already logged in. Then from this page, we can look under companies to find company profiles. If you're struggling to think of a UK brand to use, this can be a really good starting point because you can search by industry and by geography. So let's try searching for consumer goods in the UK. And this will give you a list of companies that have their headquarters registered in the United Kingdom. Here you can see whether they are subsidiary companies or whether that's the parent company. So we want to avoid the subsidiaries and focus on companies that have their parent company registered in the UK. You also want to avoid huge international brands that have already spread all across the world. If I have a look down this list, for example, I could choose Britvic, who are a soft drinks brand. So if I click on their name, it will bring up the company profile. And here you can see the company has a business presence in Ireland, the UK, France, the US, the Netherlands, Singapore, and Brazil. So it's already expanded to other markets, but you could choose a different market. On this page, you'll find a snapshot of the company, its financial details here. The most useful thing on here, I think, is the SWOT analysis. So this will give you an idea of the company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Next, let's take a look at FAME and then Factiva. So for these databases, you'll need to scroll down your course resource help page a bit. And then under resources, you'll see more databases, company accounts, and news. So here we have a link to FAME. So this is company financial accounts for the UK and Ireland. So let's take a look for our company Britvic to see if we can find anything about their accounts. So we can see here a few different instances. I would go for the one that looks like the largest company, the highest turnover, based in England. If we click there, we'll be taken to their company page. So this page is a snapshot of key information. So you can see what's happening with their turnover. If I scroll down a bit, you can see their balance sheet, profit margins, and return on capital, things like that. So it gives you an idea of how your brand is doing in its current market. Down the left-hand side, there's more information if you need it. So you can delve into the financials to get, for example, a graph of their value over time. You can look at their corporate ownership structure. And you can even do a comparison with a different company. So you can select certain variables and compare them. But that might be a bit more in-depth than you really need for this assignment. Finally, let's take a quick look at the news database Factiva. So this allows you to search across a lot of different news sources, worldwide as well as the UK, and you can search for the same topic across lots of different newspapers and online websites. So the free text search box at the top, I don't find to be very effective. I think if you're looking for information on a specific company, the best thing to do is to expand this company's menu, type the name of your company here, and select it. So you can just search now, or you can tell it where you want to search. So under sources here, we've actually got a list of British newspapers under my source lists. We've got a group of UK newspapers, and these are some of the more reliable newspapers. So we haven't got the Daily Express in here. It's all the more trusted UK news sources. So now if I click search, it will give me news articles that feature that company in UK newspapers. So this is really interesting. You can see over time how many mentions of that company there have been in the news. So you can zoom in on a particular date and say, I wonder what was happening at this point. It was probably, maybe they've been merged with a different company, maybe they brought out a new product. You don't know, but you can investigate it through there. You can also specialize in particular sources. So you can say, okay, I only want articles from the Financial Times. So by scrolling down there under sources and clicking Financial Times, it will filter out everything else. Okay, so we'll move on now to have a look at international markets. So I'd say two of the key databases for international market research are MarketLine and Passport. So both of these databases have industry profiles for specific countries. So you can find out about, for example, the biscuits market in China or in any other country that's featured in the databases. Also on MarketLine, there's country pestle or steeple analysis and country risk reports there as well. So that will help you to find out more about the operating environment for companies in those countries. Finally, there's Business Source Complete. So you might be used to using that for finding journal articles. There's also some other information on there, and that includes some commercial risk reports for investors in different countries. Usually only the larger economies are covered, but I would recommend looking there. You can put your country name in the first search box and then the word risk in the second search box, and you can see whether there is a risk report available for that country. We'll stay on MarketLine for a moment because there's something else I'd like to show you here. Under analysis at the top and then countries and cities, we have country profiles and country and risk reports. So these are really useful for the steeple analysis. If I look at country profiles, you can see that we've got in-depth pestle, otherwise known as steeple, insights for a number of countries. So again, you can filter these by geography. They won't apply to every country, but they will apply to a lot of countries. And if I open one of these up, you can see a PDF here with information on pestle factors. So there's a lot of useful information here. Obviously, you'll need to apply it to your own particular market and work out which factors are most relevant. The other item is the country risk report. So again, we can see a random selection of countries here. You can find them through geography filters. We'll click on the top one. And you can see here we've got the pestle factors appearing again. We've got the COVID-19 impact covered in these as well. So it'll give you a sort of snapshot of your country, some of the trends, perhaps in unemployment, in consumer confidence, and in the impact of the pandemic. Do you remember as well, we've got those risk reports on Business Source Complete, where you search for your country and the word risk. So don't forget to do that. I won't go through that now because it's quite simple. I'll look instead at Passport. So a similar database to MarketLine. It's rather different to look at. I think the easiest way in to the information is the country reports data graphics here. So again, you're choosing an industry. So this time we'll choose apparel, clothing and footwear. Then you can also choose subcategories. So perhaps we'll look at children's wear. And again, you're choosing a geography. So let's choose China. So this first page will give you lots of data in the form of graphs and tables about your market in that country. We've got information on brand shares of different companies and something about the performance of the market. So we've got real data and also 5 years of forecast data, which is something that is quite unique to Passport. If you want a bit more written information, we can click on the Analysis tab at the top here. And you can see there are some brief summaries of some of the market trends on the left. I want to draw attention to this at the top that points out that the report was written before COVID-19. So you can see the date of the report here. It's probably due an update because they're produced roughly annually. So you might find that the content changes in a few weeks, but be very aware of the dates on particular market reports because things could have changed quite rapidly over the last year. You can also look at the general context, so comparing it to other international markets, and you can look for related reports if you haven't quite decided yet on the industry you're interested in. Okay, so finally we'll look at consumer information. So Passport has some really useful information on consumers in various countries. There's a blog post that I wrote for last year's students that explains how to find information on consumer lifestyles or preferences in different countries. So for example, you can find out what percentage of people follow a vegetarian or vegan diet. So follow that blog post link to find out more about how to look at the consumer lifestyles data. Just a quick word here on referencing. There's a specific format for referencing market research reports. You can use Cite Them Right to help you to reference these sources and anything you can think of, really. It will give you a template and examples of in-text citations and references. So use the database name as the author. So you can use Passport 2020, for example. I hope you found this session useful. Here there's a link to your course resource help page. You can contact me either by emailing me directly or through our team email address, businesslibrarians@brooks.ac.uk. We're running at the moment virtual drop-in sessions. So some of you might remember that back before COVID, we ran drop-in sessions some lunchtimes in the library help zone at Headington. We're now doing those virtually, so you can follow the link to Zoom and you'll be put into a waiting room and then you can come in and ask us questions. Okay, good luck with your assignment. Do get in touch if you have any problems with finding information or if you need any help on referencing.